Welcome to Comfortably Me Podcast. I am Vanessa Elaine, your new BFF. If you've been dealing with anxiety or depression, or when you're on Instagram and someone is posting about their success, or people are congratulating someone else, and something on the inside of you is not happy for that person, I want you to listen to this. It's because you lack contentment. And that's what it is. That's what it boils down to. That is the root of the issue. Is because you lack contentment. And I'm going to break down how we're going to live in contentment and the dangers of not living in contentment. Let's catch up. So let me put you up to speed what's been going on with me. A lot has been happening. I always like to say that, but it is. You know, life is going. Life is happening. And the reason why I chose to talk about contentment today is because a lot of times we're going through all these emotions and all of these feelings, and as life is happening, a lot of people are experiencing lows and they're not able to be happy for someone else. And it's just like the root of that is all due to contentment. Someone else living out their life should not affect you in any kind of way, especially if it's not close range to you. If it's not really affecting you, why is it affecting you? So let's get to the root of it. I put on red lips for y'all today. I look good. So when I looked up the word contentment, you know I always have to go into the dictionary because we need to be literal, okay? That's why I always give you the book definition, and then we're going to go biblical. And we're going to go real life. That's how we do it here. If you're new here, welcome to Comfortably Me. I am your host, Vanessa Elaine. Let's get into it. So, according to the dictionary, contentment means a state of happiness and satisfaction. A state of happiness and satisfaction. Contentment has nothing to do with complacency. Just because someone is living a life of contentment does not mean they don't want more or they're not working towards more. So let's just debunk that right now. That's not what contentment means. Being content, before I get into what contentment actually is or how it's going to benefit your life, let me tell you how it's going to endanger your life. The dangers of not practicing contentment, not living life with being content. The dangers of not being content with your life is you become frustrated. And when you're frustrated with your life and how things are going on, you become desperate. You become desperate for relief. And sometimes what will happen is anybody that looks like they can give you some sort of relief is that is where you go. And that doesn't mean that you're going to make the best decisions because you're desperate. You will never make a great decision when you're acting out of desperation. You're going to take the least. You're going to take the counterfeit. You're going to take the bottom deal. You're not able to look at the logistics or the value of anything because you're moving in desperation. And out of frustration, you don't even know what you want. You become frustrated, and out of frustration, you will be open to anything because you are desperate for relief. The fact that I state that you're desperate for relief because you're not content, so you feel like, oh my gosh, life is moving and I'm not going anywhere and I want more, I want more, I want more. Your frustration is not allowing you to sit still in order for you to hear from God, or in order for you to sit with your thoughts and see how you can get out of your situation, to see how you can make more money, to see how you can go back to school, to see how you can mend broken relationships, whatever the issue may be where you're not content. That is why you will continue to have that problem or not come out of it, because you're not sitting still enough to even hear or to even put your thoughts together, because the way you're moving is all wrong. And when you don't sit still, you don't allow your mind to kind of digest and evaluate everything that's going on. You're running like 100 miles per hour. And when you're running 100 miles per hour, your subconscious mind is in full effect right now. Your subconscious mind is going to tell you anything contrary to what God is saying in your life. Let's just be real. You're not able to hear clearly. You're not able to see clearly. You can't live a frustrated life and be in alignment. You're out of alignment when you're frustrated. Because when you're frustrated, you're moving with a sort of energy. And usually when people are frustrated, they're angry. So that takes away your joy. That takes away your happiness. And anyone that's angry is not going to attract anything good. Anyone that's an angry person is not going to attract healthy people. So then you end up losing people that may have helped you, that may have blessed your life, or people who would enter your life, but you don't even have that open door because you're putting out that negative energy. You're putting out that angry spirit. And don't nobody want to be around nobody that's angry. It's just more to life. It's really more to life. And I want y'all to get this. There is more to life. Life happens to us all. I want y'all to understand that. Just because I'm on here talking to you all does not mean that I have it all figured out or life is not happening to me too. But I have learned to be content. I have learned to move by faith. I have learned that, listen, even at my lowest, I learned that things always turn around. Things always turn around for my good. I just have to remain in the right place. I have to be planted in the right place. I can't allow what's going on around me to frustrate me. Because when I'm frustrated, I cannot move. When I'm frustrated, I cannot think positively. When I'm frustrated, I cannot have peace. When I'm frustrated, I can't even map out the plan for my life when I'm frustrated. When I'm frustrated, I'm not attracting anything good. If I remain in this place of frustration, I can only be more frustrated. There is no relief when you're frustrated. No matter where you try to go or whatever you try to do to get a sort of relief or whatever you try to use as an outlet, it'll never work. I don't care what you try to fill yourself up with, drinking, drugs, working like 5 jobs. It's not you will only end up more frustrated and more entangled into darkness. And another thing why practicing contentment is so important is because when you're not content with your life, it's so easy for jealousy and envy to creep in. You will never be happy for someone else because you want it so bad. You're moving out of frustration. You're desperate for it, and you don't see it happening for you because you're not even in the headspace for life to work out for you. So when someone else is celebrating their life, celebrating their accomplishments, you can't clap for them because you're not content. You're not happy for yourself. You're not happy where you are. You're frustrated where you are. So that's when jealousy and envy, because you want what they have, and you'll be mad at them for having it. You would think like they don't deserve it and you deserve it because you know all the hell you have been through. So you don't think that they deserve it. So you become jealous. You have this sort of resentment towards this person because you're moving in a way that you're not happy with your life. So you're not content with your life, and you hate everybody that looks like they're prospering, that looks like they're living the life that you want to live. That's a dangerous place to be, because you see how it just trickles down and it just gets worse and worse and worse. That's what happens when you don't learn to be content with your life. It just adds on more spirits. Bad things just start happening, and you just turn into a really bad person to be around. Nobody wants to be around somebody that is frustrated, angry, and that is jealous and envious. Nobody wants to be around that person. That person is a dangerous person, because when all of those emotions are mixed in, they are liable to kill you. My light just went out. Undependable. Yeah, so you become jealous and envious of other people because you are not satisfied with your life. And when you live a life where you're not satisfied, you try to find satisfaction. When you try to find satisfaction, it doesn't work out because you're moving out of frustration. And it's okay to not be satisfied with your life and want more. It's okay to want more for your life. I don't want people to think that being content means you don't want more. Being content means that I'm happy for where I am, and I'm working towards better. I'm working towards more. I'm working towards it. but I'm happy and I'm grateful for where I am because I know this is the person or this is the thing, wherever I am right now, is going to help me for my tomorrow. Everything that I'm building right now is helping or it's preparing me for my tomorrow. Contentment has everything to do with practicing gratitude. If you're not grateful for anything that you have, that is a problem. If you look at someone else's life and you judge them by saying they don't deserve that, or who does she think she is? She's living this life, or she's always out, she's always shopping, she's always looking good, like, and it forms this sort of attitude, like that jealous attitude, that anger for someone else just living the life that God has for them. That's a problem. If you look at someone else and you have anything negative to say, you need to check yourself. That has nothing to do with the person. The person is living their life and you chose to speak on that person's life out of turn. You got to be very mindful what you let loose out of these lips, because whatever you speak over someone else's life, especially when it's negative, it comes back to you. So being that it comes back to you, wouldn't you want to speak good about someone's situation, especially if you're not in a place where you feel like you're happy about your life? Wouldn't you want to be close to those people who are living the life you want to live? But when you're not content, it will allow you to hate those people. It will make you hate those people. It will make you resent those people. And it'll pull you far away from that circle. But you need to be in that circle, because iron sharpens iron. And what I believe, once you're exposed to a certain type of person, or a certain type of group, you have no choice but to go up. Because what I know about people who are wealthy, people who are in their careers that are thriving, they love to help other people. But when you are not content with your life, you know what? Another thing, when you're not content with your life, remember I said you're going to be desperate. You'll have desperation. You'll go looking for relief. The enemy knows that energy that you're putting out. So when you're putting out that desperate energy, the enemy will send you a counterfeit, someone that looks like they can give you some sort of relief. And you'll go towards it without even using discernment, without even praying about it, without even thinking things through, making sure it makes sense, and dotting all your I's and crossing all your T's. And you're just going for it because you're so desperate, because you're not content with your life. And that situation ends up being something that is not for you. It ends up being a curse and not a blessing. It ends up being a bad business deal. It ends up being something that you can't get out of. It ends up being something that causes your health to deteriorate. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, you have to be very mindful what you allow into your spirit. You have to practice gratitude. How you practice gratitude is by being thankful for everything that you have. And that's how you're going to learn to be content with your life. That's how you're going to mold yourself. Because it's not easy. Because like I know, life be lifing. But you can't allow that to blind you. That you cannot allow the problems that you're facing to blind you, to make you feel like you're less than, to make you feel like there's no way out of this. There's always a way out. Because you know why? I serve a God. I don't know about y'all. I know. Listen, you serve a God that will make way out of no way. It may look a little funny. It may look like there's no way out, but God will give you a window to jump out of. If there's no door, God will give you a window to jump out of. Your breakthrough might be coming tomorrow, so don't give up. Don't look at your neighbor and hate what they have going on. Don't. Be content and be grateful, and clap for every person that's winning, and clap for every person that's thriving. Clap for those people, because you're next. You're next. But when you live a life where you're not content, there's no way you'll be next. And I don't care what you get out of frustration. I don't care what you get out of desperation. It will never last. And you may get the money out of desperation, right? But you'll lose your soul. And what does it profit a man to gain the whole world but lose his soul? So you got to be very mindful of what you entertain. You got to be very mindful what you choose to accept out of desperation. because it would never turn out to be a blessing. Because in desperation, you will accept a counterfeit. You will accept something that looks like the real thing, but it ain't it. But you won't have the discernment to see clearly because out of frustration, you are ready for relief. They can't give you relief. You know what's going to give you relief? Your relationship with God. If you can't find that place where you could be content because everything in your life seems like it's going wrong, you have to go where your help is coming from. Look to the hill from where your help is coming from. Because some things you feel like you can't get out of, you don't know the answers to. But you have to go to the person, to the God that knows everything. He knew you before you were formed in your mother's womb. He knows he has plans to prosper you and not harm you. So why not focus on your relationship when everything around you is going bad, when everything seems like it's going wrong, when your life seems like it's falling apart? Why not go to God? Why not? Test. Why not? Why not? What are you afraid of? What do you have to lose? Ask yourself that. What do you have to lose? I believe you have more to gain than to lose. And I say that confidently. When you are not content with your life, that's when depression and anxiety comes full force. Contentment, it says contentment means a state of happiness and satisfaction. If you're not satisfied and you're not happy where you are, there's no way that if you're not happy for where you are, the opposite of happiness is what? Sad. So you're going to be sad about your life. You're going to be sad about what's going on. And when you're sad, you're going to form some sort of anxiety. That's when fear creeps in. And it feels like it's choking you. It's choking the life out of you. And that's exactly where the enemy wants you to stay. That's exactly where the enemy wants you to be. He wants you to stay bound. He wants you to stay in a box. He wants you to not know your purpose. He wants you to think you're less than. He wants you to never reach your full potential. He wants you to doubt yourself. He wants you to doubt God's word. But you have to make up in your mind, I don't want to no longer live the life that is not for me, because God has more for you. So this life that you're living is not your life. This is you passing through, that there's greater on the other side. There's a greater tomorrow. And you have to believe that in your heart and in your mind, that there's greater tomorrow. So you're hopeful every day you wake up. You're hopeful and you're looking. You're looking for more. You're seeking more. But being content and happy for what you have right now. Because you know it's birthing out something on the inside of you. It's birthing out purpose. It's birthing out the person God has called you to be. Is birthing out character, the character that you will need in order to prosper in your next season. Depression and anxiety will creep in because you're so worried about your future because of what your present may look like or what you have gone through in your past. But we're breaking that. You have to break that. You have to be very intentional about your walk. You have to be very intentional and take very seriously your walk with God and your life. Take your life seriously. You can party later. All those things you worried about, it can happen later. I know you want the big house. I know you want the nice car. I know you want the marriage. I know you want the kids. I know you want these things. I know you want the 6-figure job, the millions of dollars. I know you want those things. And you can have those things. You can have all of that. That means nothing to God. He'll give that to you for free. He wants to give it to you. But he doesn't want it to be a burden to you. So you have to go through the process. You have to go through the process, because if you get anything too soon, what happens? What ends up happening? Let's use, for example, the people that win the lotto. Historically, statistically, every person that wins the lotto is broke in less than 5 years. And this is hundreds of millions of dollars. And they're broke in 5 years. Because when you get blessed with something too soon, you never went through the process. You didn't allow God to process you. So when you get the blessing, you don't know what to do with it. The blessing becomes a curse. Everything around you starts falling apart. So be grateful for where you are. You knowing that God is building up character in you. You have to take heed to the signs that he's giving you. Whatever you're going through, look at it, change your perspective. What is God trying to teach me in this moment right now? Is he trying to teach me how to persevere? Is he trying to push a different kind of work ethic in me, a different kind of drive, a different kind of ambition in me? What is it God trying to show me? You have to be very mindful what you allow into your mind. That subconscious part of your mind will ruin you if you don't train it up to think positively. And you will not be able to move by faith when you are not living a life of contentment. Faith cannot reside where contentment is not practiced. Let me say that again. Faith cannot reside where contentment is not practiced. If you are not content with your life, there's no way you can move by faith because you're so worried about what you see that you can't go to a place or seek a place where you cannot see because you can't see your way out of this situation that you're in. But if you learn to be satisfied and happy with the life that you have, you'll be so focused on receiving more and believing that you can get more, that more is on the way, that no matter what's going on around you, that doesn't make you. It's about where you're going. That I know where I am right now, but greater is coming. That my breakthrough may be tomorrow. My breakthrough may be in a week. My breakthrough may be in a year. That there's no time frame on when God wants to bless me. You have to have that mindset that every day that you wake up is a blessing. So the Bible verse that I found on contentment is in Philippians chapter 4, verse 11 through 13. And it reads, I brought out my actual Bible. So it reads, I am not saying this because I am in need, for I have learned to be content whatever the circumstances. I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secret of being content. I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. I can do all this through him who gives me strength. That was good. Y'all can't tell me that was good. That was real good. That blessed me. He said, this is a bar. This is a bar. Listen to this. Let me repeat this. It says, I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. I can do all this through him who gives me strength. Whether well fed or hungry, I have learned to be content with my life. Because there were days that I remember I was well fed and now I'm hungry, but I know that I had days where I was well fed, knowing that that can all happen again. And when you look back on your life, like I remember days where I didn't have nothing and now I have plenty. To know that I'm still content, that I'm not going to allow greed in. Because sometimes what seems to happen when you do have plenty and you're not content with where you are, God has blessed you, and you have a sense of, I want more. Be careful. Be careful, for greed can come into a person that has plenty. This message is not just for people that are in a low place or a season of lack. This message is for every person that is listening. This message is for people who also have plenty. This message is for also millionaires. Because just because you have money and all the things you want, that doesn't mean that those people are content. We always see wealthy people commit suicide. And everybody's wondering, oh, what happened? They looked like they had everything and they weren't content with their life. There was something missing. Mental health out the window. Those who were dealing with mental health issues, that's different. But the ones that felt like they were still missing something after getting everything that they thought they wanted, that they thought they needed to be happy. That's why you have to practice contentment right now. Because it prepares you for your tomorrow. That you're not going to allow greed into your heart. You're not going to allow when you get the blessing, when you get the millions of dollars, to overtake you. that you're going to be content. Your character is not going to change. It's not going to corrupt you. The wealth will not corrupt you because you're content, because you remember when you were hungry. You remember when you were hungry, when you didn't have plenty, and you prayed for days like this, where you have more than enough, where you're in overflow. Guard your heart. When you are content with your life, you're able to hear from God clearly. You're able to live more and be more at peace when you live a content life. Okay, let me give y'all a real life example. Y'all know I love to give my real life examples about things that I have gone through. Every message has a lesson. So I remember I can't say I was suffering. I didn't know I lacked contentment. I always wanted more, and I always felt like, oh my goodness, when is life going to work out for me? When is it going to turn around? I never allowed myself to become jealous or envious of other people. I always congratulated people, so thank God for that. But to say I was content with my life, no. So when I got blessed, things started happening for me, when I got the money, I started buying the things that I always wanted to buy, going into stores that I always wanted to go into, driving the car that I always wanted to drive. And I noticed something, that I always wanted more, that I was not content even having everything that I prayed for. I always wanted more, and I had to take a step back, like, hold on. No. Because then you start just wanting stuff because other people have it. Like, and because you have the money to buy, you go and buy it, not using wisdom to say, hey, you could have used that money to invest. You could have used that money to save, to buy a stock. You could have used that money more wisely, because you remember the times when you didn't have it. You didn't have it when you were hungry and you prayed for days like this. Now that you have it, you're moving crazy. You got to be mindful. When you live a life of contentment, you're not in competition with anyone but yourself. When you live a life of contentment, you don't allow greed or society to dictate how you choose to spend your money, how you choose to live. But you are satisfied and happy with the life that you have while working towards more. But you don't allow more to overtake you, because you are happy and satisfied with your life right now. That is the beauty of contentment. And I believe each and every person needs to master how to be content with the life that they have right now and the life that God is going to bless them with. Always practice graciousness. Always be grateful. Always be content. When you're grateful, you're content with where you are. And like I said, contentment does not mean you're complacent or stuck. No. You're striving for more while being happy and satisfied for your right now. Because I remember having all those things and I still felt empty. It did not satisfy me. It did not satisfy me, and it never will satisfy you. Those things will never satisfy you. God won't allow those things to satisfy you, especially when you're out of alignment, because He wants to direct you back to an alignment. So that's why you'll always feel like you're running on empty when you're living a life where you're not practicing contentment. So be very mindful. Very mindful. So that was good. That was good. That's all I have for today. Because that's all that needs to be said. You got to be content with the relationship, the person God has blessed you with. You got to be content. Don't allow social media to make you think that this person is not for you, that this person, or you need a new person, that this person doesn't fit you all of a sudden because you're looking at girls on Instagram, or you looking at guys on Instagram, like, are you seeing other people's lifestyles or how men treat their girlfriends, and you're comparing them to your boyfriend. No. Be content. Be content with your partner. Be content with the partner that God bless you with, and knowing that you can have all those things. You're working towards it. But don't value someone off of what you think they are in lack of. because you see someone else, because you wouldn't even want that thing if you didn't see it, if you didn't have eyes on someone else's life, if you didn't envy or be jealous of someone else's life and you wish it was you. You got to be very mindful, because jealousy and envy can creep in at any moment. You have to guard your heart. Definitely have to guard your heart. I always tell people this. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. Not only guard your hearts, but watch what you look at. Watch out. Watch out for greed, because that will be your downfall. Don't be greedy for nothing. I know I always say I'm greedy for food, though. And even that I have to stop saying, because words have power. And at one point in my life, food was taking over. So, yeah. Because I was not satisfied. So the song for this episode is Travis Green, I Just Want You. And the lyric from this song that I chose is, take everything. I don't want it. If I don't need it, God, I just want you. Because you have to get in the mind frame of, if it's not God, if God is not in it, then I shouldn't be in it. Because we go like this, me and God together like this. Me and God knit close. If God is not in it, I don't want nothing to do with it. I just want you, because I know if I seek after God, everything is going to be added on to me. It says that in the word. Seek after the king. First, seek after the kingdom of God, and all those things will be added on to you. All those things that you want, because that means nothing to God. I just want y'all to know that these things, these materialistic things that we want, it means nothing, because he can give it to you like this, fast. He can give it to you tomorrow. But seek him wholeheartedly, because when he blesses you, he doesn't want it to turn into a burden. He doesn't want it to turn into a curse, but he wants it to not only bless your life, but every person around you. And he wants it to bless every generation after you. That it just doesn't stop with you. When God blesses you, it blesses not only you, but the people around you. It blesses multiple people. That's the kind of God I serve. That's the kind of God we serve. That God is in a blessing business, but he's not just blessing one person. The blessing may come through you, but you will be the person that God sends out to bless 100 million people. Why not? Why not you? Why not you? Pick your head up. Love the life that you have. Don't look at anyone else's life and think that it's better than your life. That is the lie from the enemy. Enjoy your life. Love on yourself. Love God. And work towards whatever your goal is. Never forget. Never forget about yourself. Never give up on yourself, because your breakthrough may be tomorrow. That's why you have to be content. You have to be content with your right now. You have to be content with your life, because when you are content, you are happy and satisfied, and you're able to hear from God. You're able to think clearly. You're able to move in alignment. You're not desperate. You're not acting like you're hungry, so you'll eat out of anyone's hand. You're not casting your pearls to swine. And I also want to say this. So right now, I have 40% off my skincare line as well as the loungewear. You can shop at prettyprimpandproper.com, or you can just type in primpandproper.com. I will leave that information in the description box, and also it is in my bio on all my social media platforms. Shop primpandproper.com. This is great quality skincare. I wouldn't steer y'all wrong, okay? 40% off. You can't beat that. I need everything to go. So buy it up. You love me, buy it up. And y'all see my face. Y'all see I'm not playing. But thank you for tuning in. It's your girl, Vanessa Elaine, signing out. So thank you for listening. Thank you. And thank you for allowing me to be comfortably me. And I hope that you gain the wisdom, the confidence, and the knowledge to be comfortably you. That you lack nothing, that you can be all that you can be if you just trust yourself and trust God. That this is going to be a great year. And I think this is the year you may need to switch your identity to become more comfortably you. Good night.
Comfortably me, heavy on me, focused on God and who I'm trying to be. Just living my life, I'm doing it right. Comfortably me, heavy on me, not trying to be perfect, just a better me. Just living my life, doing it right. Comfortably me, yeah. Comfortably me, yeah. Comfortably me, heavy on me, focused on God and who I'm trying to be. Just living my life.